nothing to do around here, nowhere to go. And folk are always getting at us for hanging about in the street.
The traffic's busy, the streets are dirty, and there's nowhere for my kids to play.
I must say I don't feel safe at all in this corner of the city.
The residents can't get parked anywhere around here.
You feel that you're on your own, and that's that. You just have to accept it, don't you?
Well, you don't have to accept it. Glaswegians right across the city have proved that. By getting involved through their community councils, they have turned their neighbourhoods into great places to live and have shown that if ordinary people give it a go, they really can make a difference. You've just heard the residents of Garnet Hill speak about the problems facing their community in the 1970s. You wouldn't recognise the place now.
The community council have got us this park and it's great.
Other things like amenities, use of the community centre, street festivals and things like that. Oh, I wouldn't live anywhere else.
You can transform your neighbourhood if you're prepared to get involved, and a community council is the way to do it. It's a voluntary organisation which represents the views of the community to the local authority and public bodies. Local councillors and MPs are members of the community councils in their ward or constituency.
We established a list of priorities. Top of the list was parking. It's extremely difficult to park in the city centre, and that was a problem for a lot of residents where parking was not built into the complex that they stayed in.
The main issues that come up time and time again to us are actually the issue of overbuilding the area, and the infrastructure is quite a difficult one as well, where you're having an overbuild but nobody's thinking about where the kids are going to go to school, the health centre, the knock-on effect in that sense.
Our achievements at Woodside Community Council have been having Glasgow City Council looking after the area, cleaning it. We've had successes in planning of certain things in the area. We've been successful in having one of the supermarkets have disabled access.
With the help of Councillor Matheson, we are on the way, we hope, to having a residents' parking scheme.
We were all novices when we started. We didn't actually know what we were getting into. We all had one thing in particular, and that was the common good for the area. We wanted to try and build a sense of community back into the community.
OK, so that's what these folk have achieved. But where do you begin? Who helps?
If someone wants to start up a community council, they should contact the Community Council Resource Centre to find out whether a community council is in fact active in the area. If there's not, they should then petition the City Council by getting 20 residents of the area to sign a petition asking the council to take action to start up a new one. At the moment there's only 80 community councils in Glasgow. There are provision for 108, so what we would like to see is more people coming forward asking Glasgow City Council to set up community councils in the areas that do not have one at the moment.
This is Garnet Hill Community Council, where local residents address the issues which affect their everyday lives.
Maybe you could help us here, Alec. We've got a part of a building in Garnet Hill Street where people are using it as a dump. We don't know who belongs to it, but we'd like to make it a monitored area. It makes a mockery of our attempts to make Garnet Hill clean and tidy.
But what I want to do is to identify, if possible, the culprits in some of the areas where they're continually dumping stuff. Phone me and you'll get somebody there immediately. I want to get the area, I want to get around tomorrow.
This is where the community raise their concerns and local people get things done, often by their own endeavour. But sometimes access to the City Council is necessary, and that's where community councils have an edge.
We actually added this item and the following item to the agenda simply because of the comments made at the last working group meeting that Councillor Green had raised, particularly this one.
Glasgow City Council takes its relationship with community councils very seriously. This working group meets regularly to discuss how best it can support communities around the city.
But most importantly, when people, particularly community councils, are consulted, they like to perhaps get some sort of feedback.
So we've talked about the quality of the consultation and the need for feedback both ways. That's a general point. And perhaps when we come to the final report, when we're looking at this contract, I've not lost this notion of a contract between the council and community councils. Perhaps we can include that as part of it.
Working with the City Council is just one way in which community councils can and do get things done. But the driving force is the community they represent.
On the boundaries of Glasgow's East End, Baillieston Community Council is only 1 year old, but it has already gained enthusiastic support from residents, young and old alike. The well-attended and lively meetings help the community to liaise with their police force, councillors, council officials and other bodies.
Well, good evening and a warm welcome to each and every one of you. And it's nice to see such a large turnout tonight. And again,
many young people in this community have been encouraged to take part and raise their concerns.
We want somewhere to go instead of street corners. Instead of standing outside the school or at the park or dog tracks or whatever we happen to end up causing trouble, basically. It's we want like a youth club or a cafe or somewhere where we can go and sit and get a laugh and go in and out and do what we want to do, really.
Anyone over the age of 16 can be a member of their community council, and people like Christine have discovered that by speaking out, they can get what they want.
If you go to the meeting, you're more likely to get something done than if you sit outside and cause trouble. Because if you're sitting causing trouble, people don't want to know you. You get yourself involved with the community and they'll do stuff for you. I think we're sort of very committed to wanting to get this going, just get something up and running now that we've started. The adults on the committee are really helpful, sticking with us, and a lot of them are trying to fundraise for us and stuff.
Local residents have a statutory right to be consulted on planning matters, and here they are taking the opportunity to challenge developers about proposals to build on open space in the area.
20 odds, 3 bedrooms, 7 detached houses. So, if you get any questions?
I'm just being blunt here. That has been there for the kids for 36 years. And it shouldn't be taken away from the kids. Your toddler play park will cause a youth disorder problem, and toddlers and railway lines just don't mix.
I've been sitting in the neighbourhood forum for 2.5 years, and I can categorically say that if it's in the neighbourhood plan, I certainly haven't seen it.
I keep repeating it's early stage, and somebody mentioned something there about what consultation has been held. This is a consultation.
Evidence of community power has been demonstrated by the imminent reopening of a sports centre which has been closed for many years.
It's going to take, at the moment, we've estimated about £30,000–40,000 to get it up and running. I'd spoken to a promoter and he said that he would provide equipment if we wanted to get a club running. You know, taekwondo, all these different things. I had a phone call a day about dancing classes. You know, it's a community thing, and I want to see the community using it.
People in the community council are able to articulate the problems as they see them, and you feel that you're getting a view from their position rather than the overview that you tend to get by being a councillor. You've got to look at the big picture and the wider issues. But the community council representatives are able to tell you directly, that's what's happening in the area, that's what's needed in the area. Can you help us to get that up and running? And these are the things that's important.
It's very, very important that people do join their community council. The reason being is that they have to shape their own future for themselves and their children.
It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but is well worth it.
All you need is your enthusiasm.
If you would like to know more about community councils in Glasgow, please contact the Community Council Resource Centre, 8 John Street, Glasgow, G1 1JQ. Or you can telephone on 0141 287 4723.